Hello. Welcome to my new series, What If Lena Luthor Joined the Templar Order? Please leave a like and subscribe. If we get 5 likes I will release the next part. It was just another day of working as the Elcor CEO. Lena Luthor was drafting email that was going to be sent to the head of the R&D department. But then a timid man who was clearly nervous holding a box entered her office. Lena watched in curiosity. She quickly recognized that he was nervous, but she couldn't exactly blame him. She was one of the most powerful people in the city, after all. Lena walked towards him, her face stoic and expressionless. She extended her hand in greeting. And quote, "Hello. I'm Lena Luthor, CEO of Elcorp. How can I help you?" And quote. Her voice was friendly, but she was clearly a woman of business. She didn't have time to waste. And quote. "Hello. I'm Jamie Liam. I came for our meeting." And quote. Jamie said, not making any eye contact with Lena. Lena smiled at Jamie, her eyes unreadable. And quote. "Yes, of course. Come into my office, and we can discuss the details." And quote. She turned and led him inside. As soon as the door closed, she gestured to the seat in front of her desk. And quote. "Sit, please. What brought you to my attention, Jamie? I'm sure you understand that I'm a very busy woman, so I'd appreciate if you cut to the point." And quote. And quote. "Yes, of course. Before I begin, I would like to thank you for meeting me today. My designs for new aerospace suit technology is fairly simple. These goggles has technology built in them, so they could control the other parts of the suit." And quote. Jamie then puts on the arm guard and the anti-gravity beam on his fingers. And quote. "This thing around my fingers is a device that gives out an anti-gravity beam that can lift heavy objects. It can be activated by when all 4 fingers are pressed down on the bottom. Like this." And quote. Jamie points his hand at a coffee mug he brought. He then pressed and activated the anti-gravity beam. The anti-gravity beam fires at the coffee mug, and the coffee mug is now levitating off of the table. Lena seemed impressed by Jamie's invention. Jamie could feel his confidence raising. But suddenly the device malfunctions and the anti-gravity beam stops working. The coffee mug crashes down onto the table and smashes. And quote. "Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't had time to fix some kinks in the beam. And the arm guard has a platform on it that is a base for nanobots." And quote. Jamie activated the nanobots, and the nanobots turn into the blaster. And quote. The nanobots will form a welding tool, but with a few modifications the welding tool could turn into a blaster. In case the wearer runs into a xenomorph. And quote. Jamie joked. And quote. But the cream of the crop is the belt. The belt can create a strong magnetic field, allowing the user to create a protective field around the wearer. The magnetic field can also allow the user to manipulate gravity, allowing the user to fly or levitate." And quote. Jamie explained. Lena knew she just have to have the suit for herself. And quote. "Impressive." And quote. Lena said, giving Jamie a small smile. And quote. "These are the kind of inventions that I like to see. They are practical, versatile, and will certainly be able to find a wide audience. I must say, Jamie, you have a lot of talent." And quote. Lena reached into her desk and pulled out a checkbook. And quote. "Tell me, How much would you like in exchange for the designs to this technology? And quat. 4 million and quat. 4 million and quat. Lena blinked in surprise. That was far more than she was expecting Jamie to ask for. Lena was trying to be diplomatic. She didn't want to lose this opportunity to acquire Jamie's designs, but she was also wary of overpaying. And quat. Well, I don't want to be like Icarus and fly too close to the sun, so I'll take your offer. And quat. Jamie chuckled, still a little nervous. Lena was taken aback by Jamie's response. It seemed like he had agreed more quickly than she would have expected. Normally, people were more prone to haggling before agreeing to such a deal. And given the amount of money that was on the line, she couldn't help but feel suspicious. And quat. Very well. I'll have my secretary prepare the appropriate paperwork. In the meantime, there are just a few standard questions that I'd like to ask you. And quat. Lena reached out to shake Jamie's hand. She hoped that he would answer all of her questions truthfully. Jamie looked at Lena's hand. And quat. I'm sorry, Ms. Luthor, but I'm not big on hand-to-hand contact. And quat. He explained. Lena was surprised by Jamie's reply, but she quickly recovered. He was clearly a man with his own set of boundaries. She could respect that. And quat. Very well. No handshaking then. Just a few questions. Is that okay? And quat. She reached into her desk drawer and pulled out a file folder. And quat. Now, before I get into your background, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page about this deal. And quat. She said, glancing up at Jamie as she spoke. And quat. You are prepared to sign off on over all designs and rights to your inventions, correct? And quat. Correct. And quat. Very good. And I assume that you would like to remain anonymous? I will of course credit you as the inventor of the technology, but I will not publicly reveal your identity. And quat. This was standard procedure for all of her inventors. It was a way to allow them to work without their inventions being associated with the larger corporate image. And quat. Does that sound acceptable? Or is there anything else that you would like to add to this deal? And quat. It sounds acceptable. And quat. Excellent. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few more questions about yourself. These are standard questions that I ask all of my inventions just as a way to get to know them more. And quat. Lena flipped open the folder and began to read. And quat. First, why did you decide to invent this technology? Was this something you had always wanted to do? Or was there a particular moment that led you down this path? And quat. Jamie smiled. And quat. I saw Star Wars as a kid, and I've been designing the technology ever since. And quat. He explained. And quat. That's very cute. I take it that you're a fan of the movies then? And quat. Lena gave a soft, amused smile. She could imagine Jamie watching Star Wars as a kid and being inspired to invent just like the characters had. It was a sweet image, and it gave her a glimpse into the kind of person that Jamie was. And quat. Are you also a fan of sci-fi as a genre? Or is Star Wars unique, in that you were inspired by those movies specifically? And quat. I am a fan of sci-fi. And quat. I see. And quat. Lena said, making a note to ask Jamie about his other interests. And quat. And what about your childhood? Were you always interested in science? Or was it a hobby that you developed as you got older? And what? As she asked these questions, Lena tried to hide her curiosity. But she really did want to learn more about this elusive inventor. He seemed like a nice enough person, and she was interested in seeing what drove him to pursue his inventions. And quote, science was always sort of an escape for me. You know, life isn't always easy growing up in foster care and you're autistic and quote. I can see how science would give you an outlet to explore different worlds and concepts, and quote. Lena replied. And quote. But if science was your escape, what ultimately led you to invent the technology that you did? Did you simply have an interest in space travel? And quote. Lena was still fascinated by Jamie's invention. It was a testament to the power of the human mind, that this one man could conceptualize such an intricate design by himself. It made her wonder what other potential Jamie had hiding within him. And quote, I just wanted to make something great and quote. Jamie said. Lena gave Jamie a genuine smile. He was a far more humble person than she would have expected. She couldn't imagine him being self-conscious about his abilities. And quote, I think that you've accomplished something truly remarkable, Jamie. You should be very proud of yourself. And quote. Lena could feel a warm feeling of comfort when she looks at Jamie. She even feel herself blushing. And quote, how would you like to grab something to eat with me to celebrate? I know this great place. And quote, she asked sort of nervously. In a year's time Jamie and Lena were dating. They liked each other and liked to be in each other's presence. Despite his disability, she could tell that he was very intelligent. He had a quiet, gentle manner about him that she found incredibly attractive. Lena was working in her office. Recently she has had a heavily workload. But suddenly Jamie entered her office. Lena couldn't help but wonder what he was doing here. And quote, hi, Lena, I was in the area and I thought I dropped by. I hope I didn't cause you any trouble. And quote. Jamie explained. Jamie gave her a smile. And she couldn't help but notice how handsome he was. He was different from the men she was used to dating, and she found herself attracted to his quiet, gentle manner. And quote. No trouble at all. And quote. She said, trying to hide her surprise. And quote. I wanted to see how you were doing. It feels like we haven't seen each other in ages. And quote. Lena couldn't help but smile at Jamie's concern. It was clear that he cared about her, and she appreciated it. She had been working long hours lately, and it had taken a toll on her. She was tired and stressed, and being able to see Jamie was exactly what she needed. And quote. I'm doing well. Just working a little too hard lately. And quote. Well, just as long as you're doing okay. And quote. Lena could tell something was on Jamie's mind. Lena watched as Jamie hesitated before speaking. His expression was thoughtful, and she could tell that something was bothering him. And quote. Is everything okay? And quote. She asked, her tone concerned. If there was anything wrong, she wanted to help Jamie. She knew how hard it could be to be autistic, and she wanted to be there for him however she could. And quote. I just ran into some people I used to know from back in youth. And quote. Oh, what happened? And quote. Lena was surprised to hear that Jamie had run into people from his past. She knew how difficult it could be for him to interact with people, especially those he didn't know well. She was also curious to learn more about Jamie's past. She had never asked about it before, and she realized that she didn't know much about him. And quote, "Did they cause you any problems?" And quote. "No. She didn't. We just talked and quote. I'm glad it went okay." "What did you talk about?" Jamie had her full attention now. She was curious to hear what he and his friends had discussed, and she was intrigued by the idea of Jamie having a life before her. She wanted to know everything she could about his past, and she hoped Jamie would want to share his memories with her. And quote, "Me and Tessa talked about old times and fallen friends, and she gave me an offer I had to refuse and quote," Jamie said in saddened tone and quote, "What kind of offer?" And quote. Lena was intrigued. She had never heard Tessa make an offer like that before. It must have been something big, and she couldn't help but wonder what it was. She was also curious to learn more about Jamie's fallen friends. She knew that he had lost people in his life, but she had never asked him to talk about it. She knew that the topic must be difficult for him, and she wanted to be as considerate as possible. And quote, "Doesn't matter, I left that part of my life long ago," and quote. Lena nodded. She could tell that the offer had made Jamie uncomfortable, and she didn't want to pry. She respected his desire to put his past behind him. And quote, "I understand." And quote. She was silent for a moment, thinking. Then she spoke, her voice soft. And quote, "I just want to say that I'm really glad you're here. You mean a lot to me." And quote. "You mean a lot to me too." And quote. Jamie smiled. Then suddenly Lena's mother Lena Luthor walked into Lena's office. Lena was startled by the sudden appearance of Lillian. She had been so focused on talking to Jamie that she hadn't noticed her mother enter the room. Lillian was an imposing figure, and her presence always commanded Lena's attention. She was a powerful woman who had built an empire, and she expected the same of Lena. Lena knew that she could never live up to her mother's expectations, but she always tried her best. She wanted to make Lillian proud, and she hoped that she was doing just that. And quote, "Hello, Lena." And quote. Lillian then noticed Jamie. And quote. "Who is this boy?" And quote. "Hi Mom. I'm Jamie Liam." And quote. Jamie said nervously in the past, Lillian would have demanded that Jamie leave immediately. She had never tolerated anyone who wasn't a business partner being in her office. But she had changed over the years. She was more open-minded now, and she was willing to give Jamie a chance. And quote. "This is Jamie. He's my boyfriend." And quote. Lillian looked surprised. She had never heard of Jamie before, and she was clearly intrigued. And quote. "Hello, Jamie. May I ask what do you do for a living?" And quote. "I work for IT support for Rivera Media." And quote. Jamie explained. Lillian was visibly unimpressed by Jamie's job. She had always expected her daughter to date someone with a more prestigious career. She could tell that Jamie wasn't ambitious, and she didn't think that he was good enough for her daughter. And quote. "Do you have any plans for the future?" And quote. Lillian was curious to know more about Jamie's future plans. She wanted to make sure that he was serious about dating Lena before she gave her stamp of approval. And quote, "Well, I don't really have any plans for the future, but I hope my future involves Lena." And quote, Lena could feel her heart melt at Jamie's answer, while Lillian raised an eyebrow at Jamie's answer. He didn't seem to have any plans for the future, and she feared that he would only hold Lena back. It was clear that Jamie lacked ambition, and Lillian didn't think that he was good enough for her daughter. And quote, "Well, I hope you have a plan for the future. My daughter deserves more than someone who is just going to hold her back." And quote, Lillian was insistent that Jamie needed to have a plan for his future before she would endorse his relationship with Lena. And quote, "Mother." And quote, Lena said embarrassed Jamie then looks at his watch. And quote, "I really should be going. It was nice meeting you, Mrs. Luthor." And quote, he said as he leaves. Lena watched Jamie leave. She was disappointed that her mother had been so harsh towards him. She knew that Lillian was a ruthless businesswoman, but she had never seen her speak to someone like that before. Jamie had seemed like a nice guy, and she wished that her mother had given him a chance. She hoped that he wasn't too upset by what had happened. And quote, "Now that's that over and done with, I got good news for you, Lena." And quote, "What is it?" And quote, Lillian had Lena's full attention. She couldn't help but notice her mother's excitement, and she was curious to hear what she had to say. Lillian smiled happily. And quote, "The Templar Order would like to welcome you into our ranks." And quote, Lena was surprised by her mother's news. She had never expected to join the Templar Order, but she was intrigued by the idea. The order was known for its powerful members, and it would be a great opportunity for her to expand her horizons. And quote, "I'm interested. Tell me more." And quote, "As you know, the Templar Order have been around for countless centuries, and our sworn enemies are the Assassin Brotherhood, whom we must destroy. We work to collect the pieces of Eden so that one day we could bring true peace and justice to the world. This is what I trained you for, Lena." And quote, Lillian explained Lena was fascinated by what her mother was telling her. The Templar Order was a powerful organization, and its members were known for being ruthless and cunning. She couldn't help but admire her mother's conviction, and the idea of helping to bring peace and justice to the world was appealing to her. And quote, "So you think I could be an asset to the Order?" And quote, "Yes, I would very much like it for you to take my place as the Grandmaster one day." And quote, Lena was surprised by her mother's offer. She wasn't sure that she was worthy of such a position, but she couldn't help but feel flattered. She knew that her mother didn't hand out compliments lightly. And quote, "I'm honored. I would love to join the Order." And quote, she wanted to prove herself worthy of the trust that her mother had shown in her. She would work hard to make her mother proud, and she knew that she would be a valuable addition to the Order. And quote, "Good. Tomorrow night we will have a gala to initiate you into the Order." And quote, Lillian said as she gave Lena a pin with the Templar symbol on it. And quote, "And I trust you won't disappoint me." And quote, "Thank you. I won't let you down." And quote, Lena was grateful for her mother's confidence in her. She knew that she could be a powerful ally to the Order, and she was committed to proving her mother right. And quote, "Is there Anything else I should know? Unquote. Unquote. Yes. You must not tell anyone of the Templar Order. Not even Jamie. The order must not be compromised. Unquote. Later the night in Jamie's apartment, Lena and Jamie just finished making love. She was comfortable and relaxed, and she couldn't help but feel happy. Jamie was soft and caring, and he had a way of making her feel at ease. She was still getting used to the idea of being in a relationship, but she was enjoying the time that she was spending with Jamie. It felt good to have someone to share her life with, and she couldn't help but feel grateful for his support. And quote. What is that ring? And quote. Lena was surprised when she noticed the ring in Jamie's hand. She hadn't seen it before, and she was curious to know more about it. And quote. It looks like some sort of symbol. Is it important? And quote. The symbol on the ring is the symbol of the Assassin Brotherhood. Only Lena didn't know it. And quote. It looks like some sort of symbol. Is it important? And quote. She wondered if the ring was a family heirloom or something that Jamie had found. Either way, it was clear that the ring was meaningful to him, and she wanted to know why. And quote. It's nothing. It's just a whole another lifetime for me. And quote. Jamie said as if he was deep in thought. Lena was surprised by Jamie's response. She hadn't expected his answer to be so mysterious. And quote. Well, I want to know more about it. You can't just leave me hanging like that. And quote. She wanted Jamie to tell her more about the ring. She was intrigued by its significance, and she wanted to know why he was so secretive about it. And quote. Tell me the whole story. And quote. And quote. Let's just say when I was younger I belonged to this group, where I met my best friends Tessa and Dylan. We did amazing things together, but I put that part of my life behind me. And quote. And quote. So the ring is a relic from your past. And quote. Lena was fascinated by Jamie's story. She was curious to know more about this mystery group that he had once been a part of. And quote. What did this group do? And why did you leave? And quote. And quote. We helped people, protected them, but we did commit a few crimes. I left because I had to make a tough decision that caused the death of my friend Danny. And quote. Jamie then looked a little sad. Lena was shocked by Jamie's story. He had clearly led a rich and varied life. And quote. What happened to your friend Dylan? And quote. She felt a pang of sympathy for Jamie. She knew how hard it was to lose someone close to you, and she wanted to know more about what had happened. And quote. I had to leave him. And quote. Jamie explained. And quote. Leave him because he was in trouble or? And quote. Lena hesitated, hoping that there was another explanation. She didn't want to think that Jamie had done something terrible to his friend, but it was clear that he had a dark past. And quote. Because you didn't see any other way out. And quote. And quote. Because if I didn't we both would had died. And quote. And quote. So you had to leave Dylan behind to save yourself. And quote. Lena was still taken aback by Jamie's story. No matter how he presented it, it seemed like he had been forced to make a terrible choice. And quote. Did you ever find out what happened to Dylan after you left? And quote. Her heart went out to Jamie, and she couldn't help but feel sympathy for him. Whatever he had done, it had been out of necessity. He wasn't a killer, and he clearly still felt guilty about what had happened. And quote. I regrouped with the others and we went back for him, but all we found was blood. We never did find his body." And quote. Jamie explained. Lena was horrified by Jamie's story. It was clear that he had gone through a lot in his past, and she could tell that it had been a traumatic experience for him. She couldn't imagine how terrible it must have felt to lose his friend in such an awful way. And quote. I'm sorry. I can't imagine what that must have been like for you. And quote. Jamie was silent for a moment. And quote. Do you think people could be redeemed? And quote. He asked. And quote. I think so. People can change, and I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. I don't think that anyone is too far gone to make things right. And quote. Lena was firm in her belief that people could change and redeem themselves. She felt that everyone deserved the opportunity to make amends for their past actions. And quote. What about you? And quote. And quote. I don't know. And quote. Jamie was again silent. Lena could tell he was in deep thought. And quote. You got any plans tomorrow? And quote. And quote. I don't have any plans for tomorrow. Why do you ask? And quote. Lena was curious to know what Jamie was thinking about. She hadn't seen the look in his eyes before. It was as if he was trying to figure something out, but she couldn't tell what it was. And quote. Do you have something in mind? And quote. And quote. Yeah. I was thinking of going to church tomorrow. And quote. Lena was surprised by Jamie's response. She didn't think that he was a religious person. And quote. You going to church? And quote. She couldn't help but doubt his answer, but she didn't want to be disrespectful. She would give him the benefit of the doubt, but she couldn't help but wonder why he wanted to go to church. And quote. Yeah. I'm going to meet some old friends there. And quote. Jamie explained. And quote. Old friends? And quote. Lena was confused. She had no idea who Jamie was going to meet at church. It was clear that he had a past that he had never talked about, and it seemed that he wasn't ready to open up about it yet. She figured that he would tell her in his own time. And quote. Do you want me to come with you? And quote. And quote. I think it's best if you don't. It's going to be all right. And quote.